this. Testing. Cool. All right, audio sounds okay. Awesome. Cool. So I'll let this fill up a little bit first. I've got my big board pulled up. I got my position rankings pulled up. Now, none of this is official besides the quarterback ranking. But yeah, definitely some things I want to kind of talk about a little bit. The priorities I want to address. So something I've been kind of thinking about is what exactly we want to prioritize first. Obviously, this team has a lot of needs currently. Linebacker isn't as big of a need anymore now that we have McKinney on the team, but tackle, wide receiver, those are still really big. Obviously, I would like an edge rusher. Running back would be nice. Nose tackle, not so much. I don't really care anymore if we get a nose tackle. I feel like we're kind of okay where we are there. Just kind of rotating guys in to play one tech. So I think we're pretty much okay there. We don't need a backup quarterback anymore. So as far as what to prioritize, so we're at 3. I still want to try to trade back, preferably with a team like Carolina, who's sitting at like 7. I'm hoping because Atlanta is at 4, and they're looking to possibly take a quarterback to get rid of Matt Ryan. And if that's the case, then I would love it for Carolina to want to jump ahead of Atlanta to go get whatever their third quarterback is, assuming that Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence go 1 and 2. Whoever Carolina's third quarterback is, whether it be Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, whatever. I don't really care who it is on their board. Obviously, for me, as I've said, it would be Justin Fields, but whoever it is for them. Hopefully, they want to jump ahead of Atlanta to come get that pick. And then as far as who I would draft at 7, I think Rashawn Slater should be the number 1 choice. I do have him ranked above Penei Sewell at this point. I just think that he's more NFL ready right now. I do think that Sewell can be an amazing guard, but I also think that Slater could be an amazing guard. And at tackle, Slater is much better. Because there is no caveat with Slater. He has short arms, but the way he uses his hands, it doesn't really matter to me. Where with Sewell, his feet are a little bit bad, and sometimes with like zone run, and he looks a little bit lost. And sometimes just in general pass blocking, he looks a little lost. His technique really could use some work. His hands could be a little bit more consistent as well. So that's why I kind of have Slater above him. So if we can trade back to 7, that's what I want to do, and I want to take Slater. Even if Sewell is there, I want Slater over Sewell. And if we can't trade back, take Sewell at 3. I do want to prioritize offensive line before wide receiver. Now, obviously, if we're caught in a situation where we do trade back to 7 and somehow Sewell and Slater are both gone, 1 second. Let me take care of my cat real quick. My bad, Joe. That was going to irritate me if she was scratching at my door this whole stream. So, yeah, I would take Slater first no matter what. just because I feel like we can get receiver later in the draft if need be. If we are caught in a situation where we can't get Sewell or Slater, like if we trade back, then yeah, take either Smith or Waddle. That would be the go-to for me. But yeah, I definitely want to get offensive line first because receiver, if we miss out on the big three, we can get Rashad Bateman. We can get Eskridge in later rounds. We can get Tylan Wallace. There's guys we can get. But after the first round, offensive tackle really falls off hard. And it does every year. This is just something that you pretty much have to deal with in just about every draft class. Offensive line is one of the weakest, like as far as depth goes, for position rankings. Like if we miss out on Sewell and Slater, the only other tackle in this class I really like, well, there's two actually, Radunes and Tevin Jenkins. Those are the only other two tackles that I actually feel good about. Leatherwood, I'm not a fan of. Darisaw, I think, is kind of lazy and soft, but he is talented. I'm not a big fan of him. And, I mean, Liam from Notre Dame, no. He's cool, but I think it is a pretty big drop-off. And, yes, there is a drop-off between, those top three receivers and the guys below him. But I don't think it's as drastic. So I do want to prioritize offensive tackle first. And then I got our draft picks actually pulled up right here. So at 18, if we get our offensive tackle, then if one of the big three receivers is somehow by some miracle still available, take him. I don't even care if it's Jamar Chase, even though I don't prefer him, but if he's still there, take him. Because he does have some route running to him as well, just not as good as the other two. And it is a big position of need. If not, go with whatever best edge is available. That would be my choice. Whether it be Kwity Paye, whether it be Jalen. Hang on. Let me make sure I ain't getting names twisted. So many names at this point. Edge. Yeah, Jalen Phillips. Okay, yeah. I was right. For some reason, I was questioning Jalen Phillips' name, but no. Whether it be Paye, Jalen Phillips, Azeez Ozari, Basham. Well, don't take Basham in the first round, but you get the point. If it's any of those three, go ahead and just pull the trigger. That's just how I feel. I'm a big fan of any of those at number 8 at pick 18. After 18, we go to pick 36. This is where things get a little bit more wide open. If we have our tackle and we have our edge, I would like to look at wide receiver depending on what's available on the board. But at that point, just take a best available at this point. I think tackle needs to be a thing, and we do need to address center at some point. I'm not trying to go into the season with Matt Skora as our starting center. I'm just really not trying to do that. So I would like to address that as well. And I think that if we can go with Slater, well, actually Slater would be at right tackle, probably, which is good because that's to his blind side. So from left to right, we would go Austin Jackson, probably Solomon Kinley at left guard. In my opinion, Landon Dickerson is the best center in this class. So Landon Dickerson, right guard, Robert Hunt, right tackle, Rashawn Slater. I would like that to be our offensive line. I really, really would. And if we have to take Landon Dickerson with our first, second round pick, I'm okay with that. After that, probably a running back would be good. And then after that, just take best player available throughout the rest of the draft. Because those are pretty much the big needs met at that point. I would like to – no, technically we haven't addressed receiver. So at some point you need to get receiver help. Probably even double dip at wide receiver. But at that point, just kind of play your board a little bit, just depending on what's available. Because there's decent receivers even into day 3 that I feel pretty good about. Obviously, my wide receiver ranking hasn't come out, and this isn't official yet, but I do have what I've been working on with it so far. Some decent guys that I think could go early day 3. The 2 Louisville receivers, Tutu Atwell and Des Fitzpatrick. I think Des Fitzpatrick would be pretty good for us. Amari Rogers is interesting. He just drops the ball a little bit too much. Same thing with Shai Smith. Demetric Felton at a UCLA is interesting. He just hasn't played wide receiver very long, but he does seem to be a pretty good route runner. There's a lot of options going into day 3. And also with our third round pick, there's plenty of guys too. I heard that Mike Harley actually ended up going back to school, so he's probably off the list. But we'll just kind of see with that. But people like Dwayne Eskridge, Tylen Wallace, those are all like day 2 guys that we could probably go and get at some point. So just kind of play your board. Jalen Darden from North Texas is pretty solid too. But yeah, just kind of play your board from there, honestly, and you should be fine. Just don't overthink it. Like I said, we don't really need nose tackle anymore. We don't need a backup quarterback anymore, so that's really freeing on day 3. Where did this Chiefs draft pick come from? By the way, when I was last looking at our picks, we only had 1 pick in the 7th round. But I'm looking at it now, and we have the Chiefs draft pick at 260. I'm not sure where that came from. Who do I think the Raiders will take at 17? 1 second, man. I'm looking up y'all's depth chart right now, actually. 17. Interesting. So you guys look like you're running a bit of a 4-3, which seems to be the case from last year. Forgot y'all had Jeff Heath. Honestly, offensive line kind of comes to mind. Wide receiver comes to mind. Y'all could kind of go just about anywhere. Y'all could even like sneak up and go get like Richie Grant, safety out of UCF. I'm really becoming higher on him nowadays, which I always liked him, but I am leaning toward him being my safety 1. Let me take a look at the Raiders real quick. What are y'all sick? Yeah, I think offensive line would probably be pretty good for you. At 17, maybe someone like Elijah Vera Tucker could be good. What other tackles would be good for y'all? Maybe Dylan Radunes, Tevin Jenkins, just kind of somewhere around there. Those guys should be available at that point. I'm not sure how y'all are feeling about Colton Miller at this point. I haven't really watched film on him since he's become a Raider, but I really wasn't a fan of him coming out of the draft. Linebacker could be a thing for you, so maybe someone like Zaven Collins. Nick Bolton. A lot of people are saying the Raiders are going to pick up JOK from Notre Dame. I don't know if JOK is going to be there for you. Linebacker does look like you like Colton Miller? Okay. Maybe he's developed since then. I don't know. I just didn't like him in college. But I don't know if JOK is going to be still available because he might be the best linebacker in this class. He wasn't my linebacker 1 purely because I was looking at it from a Miami Dolphins lens, and from that perspective, Nick Bolton would have been better. But I think someone like a Zaven Collins could be there for you. I just don't think JOK will be, because someone who can play strong safety and linebacker at a high level for you is going to be kind of tough for him to be there. I legitimately think he could probably go like just outside the top 10, maybe even inside, depending on how the board goes. But maybe weird things happen in the draft every year, so maybe he can fall that far. And if he does, that's a great player for you. So yeah. But Nick Bolton, Zavon Collins, I think would be really, really good for the Raiders. Nick Bolton plays like a damn Raider. Raiders, Steelers, any kind of mentality like that. I think he'd fit in pretty well there. Are y'all like married to Jeff Heath? Probably not, I would assume. He's an okay safety, but he's not amazing. Richie Grant, I think, would be pretty good for y'all too. I'm a big fan of Richie Grant. Like, honestly, no, you're not married to Jeff Heath. Cool. I think Richie Grant would be amazing for you. Like, I'm even thinking that, like, depending on what's available, if the edge guys are kind of gone, Richie Grant at 18 might make sense for the Dolphins too. Yeah, Jeff Heath is okay. There's definitely nothing wrong with him. He just isn't that impressive athletically. But mental processing is there, and he will go down and hit somebody. Richie Grant will definitely do that too. Out of the free safeties in this class, Richie Grant is the only one that, like, well, him and Ardarius Washington are the two that are actually willing to go hit somebody in the mouth. But Richie Grant's range and speed is just incredible. The only thing with Richie Grant, and this is something that he might be able to kind of work on once he gets to the league, is he does kind of fall for misdirection a little bit too much, like play action, bootlegs, anything like that. Like, he has a tendency to bite. Yes, I do have videos on Nick Bolton and Richie Grant out there. They're older now. I think Nick Bolton was actually one of the first players I did. Because he was a opt-out guy, was he not? Nick Bolton. And yeah, I've done Richie Grant as well. I think I actually did a Richie Grant video before, like, people got really hype on Richie Grant because my comment section put me onto him. Raiders could kind of go just about anywhere. And the cool thing about the Raiders situation is they're in a situation where they don't necessarily have to draft anything. You guys aren't terrible anywhere. So it's kind of wide open. I think Richie Grant would be an amazing free safety day one. I think he's solid as hell. Ardarius Washington's really good too, but the problem with him is he is kind of small. I don't really have an issue with that. He was my free safety number one for a while, but more film I've watched on Richie Grant, I just can't keep that opinion. He's got the range, he's got the mental processing, he's got the attitude, he's got it all. He doesn't have the production that some safeties have, just because people stop throwing his way. So he doesn't have the interception numbers. Oh, yeah. Morig is my free safety 3. I have Ardarius Washington, Morig's teammate, above him too. Yeah. I do like Morig though. Don't get it twisted. I think that Richie Grant and the 2 TCU safeties are the only true free safeties in this entire class. Those are the only guys I'd even be interested in for the Dolphins. If we miss out on those 3, I'm not interested. Because everybody after that is like a solid, like, strong safety. Because if you want a strong safety, but I don't know why you would, because, you know, Jonathan Abrams there and he's still pretty young. I know he's had some injury concerns and stuff, but if you are looking for a strong safety, Hamza Nazarudeen's good. Tyree Gillespie for Surrey is really good. Ifitu Malifonwu is good from Syracuse. Not a big fan of Andre Sisco, but even JOK, if you can get him, I think JOK is actually a better strong safety than a lot of strong safeties in this class. He'd be below Hamza Nazarudeen at strong safety, but I think he'd be right there with Tyree Gillespie. I don't like Javon Holland at all. I don't like him at all. He sort of plays nickel corner, like that's where he lines up, but he kind of doesn't. He kind of just looks lost out there on film. He doesn't. So they'll put him out at nickel, but they won't actually let him cover anybody. He'll go out to nickel and then just run to the flats the second the play starts and do nothing and just kind of wander. He kind of stumbled into some plays before, but that's about it. I don't really understand the hype for Javon Holland, to be honest. I'm sure that some people probably seen some highlight tapes and got hype. But as far as the actual film, like play-by-play, no. Not a fan of Javon Holland at all. He is undraftable to me. But, because I don't even know what I would do with him. He's not a strong safety because he doesn't really hit people. He's not that great of a tackler. He can't cover. He's kind of athletic. Like special teams, maybe, right now, and hope he develops. He's more of a priority undrafted free agent for me. But I know some team will probably draft him high. It could even be the Dolphins. Dolphins can't draft. What round do I think Grant will fall in? See, it's kind of weird because NFL teams don't value safety like they should, especially with the modern NFL with free safety being so important. But because of that, I think he'll probably be like a late, like mid to late first, somewhere early second, something around there. I think he can go anywhere within that range. Maybe someone will get attracted to Morig, like you were saying, and maybe take him over Grant to push him back. Our Darius Washington's probably going to fall, though, too, just because he is small. But it is what it is. I will say, I think that Morig is probably the better man coverage safety out of the three. But that's about it. I think like actual mental processing, hitting, zone coverage, everything else, range, that all goes to Grant and Ardarius. But I mean, it just depends on what you need. I mean, if you're the Dolphins, we do a lot of like cover zero things. So Trevon Morig might actually be pretty good for the Dolphins just because we do so much man coverage. But it's hard to pass up on Richie Grant. And Ardarius Washington and Richie Grant are also both really good at man coverage. I would just say that Morig is probably a little bit better. Amik Robertson. Amik Robertson. Hang on. I have to remind myself of who I'm talking about here. Right. I'm trying to remember my draft grade on him. I'd have to like really look at his Raiders film. How much playing time did he get for y'all this year? I remember thinking he was a pretty cool corner, and once I move on to a new draft, the previous draft goes out of my mind, to be honest with you. I don't remember what my thoughts were on him. I'd have to rewatch the film on him with the Raiders. So I don't really know. What about you? What are you thinking about him? You like him? Let me see. What else haven't I really talked about? From games I watch, we only put him in the slot because of his size. He got burned a lot, but showed good man coverage skills. That's fair. Not very handsy. Okay. My cornerback rankings right now, because we're talking about a corner right now. Keep in mind, this is not my final verdict. My opinion might change. I've got J.C. Horn from South Carolina, number 1. Kelvin Joseph from Kentucky, 2. Even though I actually do think that Kelvin Joseph is probably better than J.C. Horn, but he probably is going to be drafted later than J.C. Horn and probably even more of these guys, just because he does have some behavioral problems off the field. But just talent alone, I think he is probably the best corner, but you just kind of have to take everything into account when you're talking about drafting somebody, especially guys that are looking to possibly be first-round picks who will be a 5-year deal. Caleb Farley, 3. I think Caleb Farley's really good, really athletically impressive. It's just he needs to work on a lot of his technique problems, but I think if he can, that's really going to help him. I like Greg Newsome out of Northwestern a lot. He's my number 4. And Patrick Surtain is actually my number 5. I know that's going to be crazy for some people. Some people may want to scream at me, but it just is what it is. Now, a part of this is from a Dolphins lens. Like I've said, we do play a lot of cover 0, a lot of man coverage with really no safety help behind. And in cases like that, Patrick Surtain really falls off hard. The lack of athleticism and speed really, really hurts him. But if you're a team that does like a lot of cover 2 or cover 3 things, he is still a good player for you. Where he does have that safety help behind him. But if you do a lot of man coverage and he's going to be on his own, you're probably going to want somebody else. That's why I have the other 4 above him. A lot of experts are punching the air after. Yeah, facts. Don't get me wrong. I think Surtain is going to be a good player. These conversations just need to happen. Just because I rank someone lower than a player does not mean I don't like that other player. I just like those other players more. I think Surtain in the right situation would be a really, really good player for you. He is the most physical out of all these corners. He's the most willing to tackle. And I think he has the highest floor out of any of these corners, besides maybe J.C. Horn. It's just, like I said, you just kind of have to weigh the advantages and disadvantages. And there really isn't one for J.C. Horn, which is why I do have him number 1. The only thing is that he gets a little handsy, so he may get you some penalties. But Surtain is just kind of slow, and you can't fix slow. Like, you can't just make a player get faster, but you can coach a player to not be as handsy and not hold as much. So I'd rather deal with the problem that Horn has than the one that Surtain has. And of course, like I said, Kelvin Joseph, he's car under the seat guy. He is, I'm going to choke my coach guy. So that's a little weird because he is one of the most talented players, regardless of position in this draft. Does Surtain remind you of Sean Smith? A little bit. I think he's probably a little bit more technically impressive than Sean Smith. But I can see that comparison. And Sean Smith had a pretty decent career in the league too. I know people won't want to hear this because people think that this is like an inferior position, but I think Patrick Surtain as a nickel corner would be incredible. Just a situation where he isn't going to have to run with these faster receivers. I think he'd be really good for that. I think depending on the matchup, like let's put it this way. Let's say that Patrick Surtain was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this past Super Bowl, and you had to line him up against the Kansas City Chiefs. And let's just say their Chiefs' offensive line was going to hold worth a damn. So Mahomes would actually have time to throw the ball. Who would you put Surtain on? If you put him on Sammy Watkins, you put him on Travis Kelce, he'll be fine. He will be absolutely fine against either one of those. But if you put him against McCole Hardman or Tyreek Hill, he's going to die. Like, he's going to die. So you just have to really think a little bit with Patrick Surtain. Where with Kelvin Joseph or J.C. Horn, at least on the field, they can line up against anybody because I've seen them do it. Kelvin Joseph is lined up against the most he lined up against Devontae Smith and shut him the fuck down the best route runner in college, one of the best route runners I've ever seen play in college, completely shut him down. And then it's not just the route runners. When he went and played Florida, Kyle Pitts caught one touchdown right over Kelvin Joseph's head. And after that, you can tell that Kelvin Joseph took that shit personal because Kyle Pitts never caught another pass on him the rest of the game. As long as he was on Kelvin Joseph, he never caught another pass. It was incredible. So he's a guy that you can put up against anybody and he'll do well immediately. It's just, can he be on the field? Is he going to be in trouble? That's the problem with him. And Eric Stokes and Asante Samuel would be my next two guys. I like them both. I'd probably put Asante Samuel over Eric Stokes. Samuel is just small, but he's a good player, and Eric Stokes is cool. I just think he's a little bit raw. And Tyson Campbell out of Georgia is weird as hell. Looking at the film, you can tell he's fast as shit, and I know he is a track star, but he still lets people burn past him. I don't understand it. I know he's fast. I know he's faster than the people that are running past him, but he just doesn't use that speed on the field. And I've said multiple times, because people say that, Jason Owe from Penn State has athleticism, but if it doesn't show on film, it doesn't count. So it is what it is. If it doesn't translate to football speed, it doesn't count. And you want to talk about the Surtain thing, me getting hate? How about Micah Parsons being my number 4 linebacker? People would want to shoot me, some people. I do like Micah Parsons. Don't get me wrong. I just like JOK, Nick Bolton, and Zavon Collins way better. I think they all process the field a lot better. I think they are better. They have better football IQ, all of that. Then Cameron McGrone from Michigan's cool. Divine Diablo, who's a linebacker / safety. I like him. Baron Browning, I like him. Those are all like after. Yeah, the Micah Parsons take is but see, I don't abide by what they say because half the time they're wrong. And I know that there is this mentality that these people get paid millions of dollars to do this research, whether it be Mel Kiper or any of the beat writers on any of the networks, or even some of the people in actual NFL offices. I know they get paid so much money, and I don't get paid a dime for this. But there's a reason why some teams are bad every year. There's a reason why teams can't draft. It's because of shit like this. I have no biases with me. I do like Micah Parsons. He's athletic as shit. He has a lot of tools, but his mental processing is bad. I try to think of it, if I was the opposing offensive coordinator, regardless of what it would be. So Michael Parsons, if I was the opposing offensive coordinator, if I was looking at a quarterback, if I was the opposing defensive coordinator, I try to think of how would I try to defeat this person? How easy would it be? Right? How would I beat Nick Bolton? I don't know. I don't know how you beat Nick Bolton because he just does his job. He's not as athletic as Micah Parsons by any means, but one thing you can guarantee is he's going to fill his gap and he's going to do his job right. And I know a lot of people say, well, you can outrun him with like outside runs and stuff. Sure, but Nick Bolton is filling his gap, doing his job, and trusting his teammate to make the play to the outside. Or Micah Parsons will try to play hero ball and just try to jump to the outside. And then when you cut back inside with a misdirect, he's out of position and he fucks his team over. That's just the situation he's in. And I don't even know where to play Micah Parsons. Because, do you play him at will? And because he's not really that great at covering people. He's okay at it. He's got the athleticism to do it, but he's not that great at covering people. And I also don't like him at will because I don't like him mental processing things, and you really have to do that at will. And I don't really want to play him at Sam because he's not that good at getting people off of him. So you can't do middle linebacker because with middle linebacker, you have to be able to do all of that. And I know a lot of people are saying put him at edge, but again, he can't get past blocks. So I don't know what to do with him. His technique just isn't there. He's got it athletically, clearly. But it is what it is, man. And I haven't hid this take at all. Greg Russo. Greg Russo is ass. Greg Russo is number 16 on my edge list. He's not last. There's actually 3 people below him now. But because I've watched a total of 19 edge rushers in this class, and Russo is 16. It took me so long to find an edge rusher I liked less than Russo. But again, I just don't abide by what they say. I've never been like that. Because my thing is, if I'm just going to abide by what they say, why am I even bothering doing these videos? Y'all can just go see what they said. In fact, I might even do some because I know like Vach Lombardi, he's a Cowboys YouTuber. I know he likes to do videos like making fun of people's mock drafts. I might do something like that. That could be fun. Look at like Mel Kiper's mock drafts or something like that and make fun of it. That could be a video. Russo is only high on people's boards because of his lean size. I don't know why he's high on people's boards. I think he kidnapped somebody. I think he kidnapped somebody's daughter and is holding him ransom. No, Mel Kiper's ass. Like, he has all year to only break down the NFL draft. That's all he's responsible for. And he's terrible at it. He started doing this shit the second last year's draft was over. He started breaking down this year's draft. I started in November, I think. I think it was November, December that I started. He's retarded. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. I might do that. But I don't know. Also, I don't know what it is. My nose starts itching so bad the second I start filming. I don't know what it is. Apparently, it's true with live streams too. The second the camera turns on, my nose starts itching like hell. But ain't it a thing in Japan that like your nose starts itching when someone's talking shit about you? Ain't that a thing? Maybe Mel Kiper's watching this and talking shit. Yeah, there are a lot of Raiders YouTubers who do film study. That is true. That's kind of why I started this channel, because like you look around and there's a lot of Steelers fans that do this. There's Patriots fans. There's a shit ton of Cowboys fans. There's Ravens. There's Raiders. There's Falcons. There's so many for these other teams, but the Dolphins really didn't have shit. So I'm like, I just decided to give it a shot for myself. Obviously, draft season is pretty neutral for all teams because everybody needs to draft players. I appreciate that. And honestly, after the draft, I'll probably go and evaluate every team's draft. Which I'm not going to lie, the Raiders don't have a great track record. Neither do the Dolphins, to be fair. But you know, like we had all the picks in the world last year, and I couldn't stand our draft. Like there were some picks I liked, and for the most part, the players I said I liked ended up doing well. But it is what it is. Yeah, you kind of do. And you know what? That just goes to show you. Like, obviously, the Raiders have had a couple years here and there of sparking of success. But the Dolphins, the Raiders, the Falcons, teams like that, they may have a few flash years, but we have no consistency because we don't draft effectively. The teams that are efficient every year, or at least most years, like the Steelers, the Patriots. They don't, even those two teams don't necessarily draft well, but you can tell that they have a specific mindset to their drafting, and they know how to develop those players. The Dolphins and Raiders just kind of seem all over the place. And I love Chris Greer, the Dolphins GM. I love Brian Flores, our head coach. And I think they make great decisions when it comes to free agency and trades, but the draft remains to be seen. I didn't like last year's draft at all, but yeah, taking Ruggs first in the first round last year was definitely a Raiders thing. It would be kind of funny to see you take Waddle as well. It'd be a good pick because he's a really good player. It would just be kind of funny. I don't think he'll be there at 17 though. But JOK makes a lot of sense for y'all. It really does. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of the Ruggs pick either. I think that CeeDee Lamb would have been better. Justin Jefferson would have been better. Those two and Jerry Jeudy were my top 3 receivers last year. Jerry Jeudy didn't really have many opportunities because Denver was ass, but we'll see how that goes because I still do really like Jerry Jeudy a lot. But there's only so much you can do with what Denver was doing last year. But we'd have an Alabama offense if we took Waddle. They had him and Ruggs. Yeah. Y'all do have Kenyon Drake, don't you? I forgot that you guys picked up Kenyon Drake. I forgot all about that, actually. Raiders could be kind of interesting next year. What do you think of Derek Carr? You trying to push him off a bridge? You like him? What are your thoughts? I don't really hear from Raiders fans that much. Love to hear your thoughts on that. I think he's pretty solid. I don't think he's obviously not amazing, but I think he is a solid quarterback, and I think that even solid quarterbacks are really hard to come by. I agree he is underrated. I agree. I think people talk a lot of shit on him. The Raiders, y'all's play call is kind of questionable to me sometimes. It's very old. Yeah, he's not very mobile, but that's fine. He has some mobility, and he does have a good arm. And I think his mental processing is pretty okay. It's pretty solid. It's not amazing. You can definitely tell he's not like one of the top tier quarterbacks, like like your Aaron Rodgers of the world, your Patrick Mahomes of the world. He's never going to be up there. Yeah, he does still use stuff from 2002. I'm not a fan of John Gruden at all. I'm sorry if that upsets you, but I don't like John Gruden at all. I think John Gruden is one of the most overrated head coaches of all time. The Super Bowl he pretty much just took Dungy's team and ran with it. But whatever. And in general, getting a coach that retired that long ago, yeah, I do agree that he needs a young OC. I think that would help a lot. I just don't know if ego-wise, if John Gruden would allow that, because I do think that he needs somebody young to really take the reins and have a modern NFL offense. Last year, the Dolphins were plagued by that too. We had a old-ass offensive coordinator with a rookie quarterback, and when we went from Ryan Fitzpatrick to Tua Tagovailoa, we didn't start putting packages in that Tua liked until week 16. Actually, against y'all. But it's just a shame. Like, because Tua, like if you watch his college film, he doesn't like just lobbing it up to big-bodied guys and letting them go get it. He's more of a precise thrower, and they like having. He likes being put in the pistol. He likes RPOs, all that stuff. They didn't start implementing any of that until like week 16. And I know our offense was really bad last year, but still. Yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick, man, at the end of that game was insane. That no-look pass was incredible. I wish him luck in Washington, by the way. I love Ryan Fitzpatrick. That was a good-ass game, though. That was entertaining as hell. That's one thing I did like from the Raiders last year. Y'all knew that you were probably out of the playoffs at that point, but y'all were still fighting like dogs. And I do appreciate that. That is one thing you will get from John Gruden is he will have y'all fighting. That is one thing he will do. That's why I think you're right. If you get a good young offensive coordinator to call plays and just let John Gruden be the guy to hype y'all up, I think that'd be a pretty good design for you guys. I really do. I just think that John Gruden is just old and has a very old school mentality as far as play calling goes and is extremely outdated. I remember looking at the film because during the season I did like film breakdowns of every team we were going to match up against as far as the Dolphins go. And I remember watching film on y'all and it was pretty simple to come up with a game plan for. If you shut down Jacobs, your offense kind of breaks apart. Just because it is such an old school system. Y'all's receivers actually aren't that bad. It's just that John Gruden doesn't know how to use them. He just has the old school mentality of we're gonna power run the ball and then we're gonna just throw to a fast guy with a play action. That's just so old. So I would love to see a young offensive coordinator come in and mix things up for y'all. And yeah, you guys are a very heavy run first offense, but if you look at the Titans, I think they just do a little bit better of a job of mixing things up than y'all and using at least a little bit of misdirection. Y'all were pretty obvious with your approach, not just offensively, but defensively too. Y'all didn't really disguise much. But that just is what it is. I think if y'all start working on some of that, because if you just dead ass just show what you're gonna do in the NFL, people are gonna pick you apart now. Like when John Gruden won a Super Bowl, you could run the Tampa to the whole game and be fine. You can't do that now. But whatever. Now, yes, I do think you guys need to let him throw more. I think that would help a lot. And one thing I will say that y'all did do is you guys did move your safeties around a little bit to disguise some of that stuff, but I think you need to do that throughout the rest of your defense. But let me take a look at some of my other rankings. Running back right now. Like I said, still not official. Yeah, he was trash. Najee Harris, Etienne, Michael Carter, Javonte Williams. Those are my top 4. Yeah, thank God. Yeah, Bradley. Yeah. I think the Raiders will improve this year. I really do. Also, last year it's such a difficult year to evaluate with teams not having an off season. That's why I truly do think with the Patriots, I don't think Bill Belichick gave a shit last year. I think he started to care at the end because of the way people were talking about him. But I think he knew that last year was going to be a wash and just accepted that it was going to be bad. And he knew that he was going to have salary cap available this year. And I think he's going to try to take names, which also that'll be a lot of fun when New England plays Tampa next year because they do play each other. That's going to be a lot of fun. Also, I'm not looking forward to playing Tampa next year, but that is what it is. The Patriots did beat y'all last year. Yeah, that's true. They beat us once too. They blew us the fuck out week 1. We made Cam Newton look like it was till 2015. Yeah. Yeah, I think Tampa's going to murder us this year too. Who won? What NFC conference does the AFC West play this year? I know the AFC East plays obviously the NFC South. I don't know who y'all are playing this year. Let me know if you know. Kylan Hill, actually from Mississippi State, actually jumped up my board pretty high. You don't know? I'll look it up, actually, because I am curious. Raiders 2021 opponents. You won't have like an official schedule, but you can look at who you're going to play this year. Y'all play the NFC East. So Eagles, Washington, Dallas, Giants. That's interesting. That should be much easier for y'all too. That's interesting. But yeah, Kylan Hill, whose video actually just came out on this channel, he's climbed up to be my number 5 running back, to be honest. And also, one thing that is really interesting is how far Chuba Hubbard keeps falling. Because like he really should have came out last year because he probably would have been like a day 2 guy. He's my 15th ranked running back now because he just can't hang on to the damn ball. And, that's kind of important. And he also just doesn't have the burst he used to. So for the Raiders, just so you know, since you've been pretty active here, I'm not going to name your AFC West opponents because obviously you play them. But your other home games are Baltimore, Cincinnati, the Dolphins. That could be fun. Eagles, Washington. And then away, you've got Cleveland, Dallas, the Colts, the Giants, and the Steelers. That could be fun. I don't think your schedule is actually that bad. Obviously the Chiefs are going to be a problem in your division. That's going to be kind of tough. Dolphins could be a fun matchup for you. You should destroy Philly and Cincinnati probably. Ravens could be tough. You should beat Washington. Browns is tough. Dallas could be tough. Colts, tough. Then Giants and Steelers, I think y'all probably have that. Can't wait for Abram to light up Juju. Yeah. You don't like Juju Smith-Schuster? I can't imagine why. You gonna let him hurt Juju on his contract year? That's just rude. He only signed a 1-year deal, sir. Kenneth Gainwell from Memphis also is pretty high up my list too. You heavily dislike Juju. Okay. I don't know if I have any players I genuinely dislike. It's not true. I don't like Antonio Brown, to be fair. Glad you didn't pick him up. Was the Raiders thinking of doing that? That would have been interesting. That would have been very interesting. I bet you don't like Antonio Brown much either, huh? With what he did to the Raiders, I assume. Let me see. Okay. Bucks totally going to win the Super Bowl. I give up focus on drafting good. Tampa actually drafts pretty well. That's why they were as successful as they were, because Tampa actually has been drafting very effectively. In recent years, I think they're actually one of the better drafting teams in the league, to be honest. It's just that for a long time, it's difficult to win games when your quarterback is throwing 30 interceptions. That just is what that is. That's why going from James to Tom Brady, you got a guy who is actually going to drive your football team, not just drive it into the ground. Because if you look at 2019 Buccaneers, if you take away those 30 picks, Tampa is 12-4. That's an interesting thought. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Antonio Brown. He's no longer in the league, but Vontaze Burfict, he was a player I really, really didn't like. He played for y'all too. But Jets should draft linebackers and wide receiver and offensive line. Follow Buck's direction. I mean, I kind of agree. But also, I don't know, because Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence are both amazing. But I kind of do agree that building around Sam Darnold would be smart. But I don't know, because I don't know if you're going to be in a position to get your hands on Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson, like that caliber quarterback, for a long time. I think Zach Wilson is special, man. Aaron Rodgers is staying in Green Bay. But I feel you. But I ain't a Jets fan. I hope the Jets make terrible decisions. I hope they draft Kellen Mond, 2nd overall, and start him. That's what I hope they do. They should go ahead and do that. Yeah, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is leaving Green Bay either. Now, you know what? The Jets should go and draft Javon Holland, 2nd overall, so I can have a nice, good laugh. That's what they should do. I'd love to continue to. I'd love to just destroy them for the next 5 years for Javon Holland's contract. But I actually do think that Tampa drafts pretty damn well. Aaron Rodgers could leave just like Tom. I mean, yeah, he could, but his contract isn't up. Aaron Rodgers was looking for a trade. His contract isn't up like Tom Brady's was for New England. So that's a little different. But, I mean, he could leave. Yeah, I hope the Jets screw up too. It'll be kind of funny. I kind of don't want to see Jacksonville screw up, though. I kind of want to root for Jacksonville a little bit. And I'm not a Jags fan, but they've just been so terrible for so long, and they're not directly in my division, so it doesn't really matter that much. I don't think you can go wrong with Zach Wilson or Trevor Lawrence. I personally, I know this is probably controversial too, but if you see my quarterback ranking, you already know. I do have Zach Wilson over Trevor, but I love them both. They're both great quarterbacks. But I don't know. It's been kind of interesting. I don't hear from too many Raiders fans. I mean, I live right outside of Tampa, so I hear from Bucs fans all the time. But I don't hear from too many Raiders fans. So this was pretty interesting. Now, see, I don't ever wish injuries on people. That's one thing I don't do. Wishing they screw up in the draft, absolutely. That'd be funny. They're going to be in the way of everybody in AFC for a long time. Jags should draft Lawrence, then draft offensive line for the. I agree. They should build the offensive line around Lawrence after they get him. I agree. Raiders should start over again. What you mean? They have a lot of pieces already. They got Josh Jacobs. They got Derek Carr, who's okay, who was solid. They got a couple receivers. They got one of the better offensive lines in the league. It's not perfect, but it's better than most. I don't agree with that. They need to start drafting better, and getting rid of John Gruden would probably be smart. Or at least, like we've been talking about, fix your coordinators. Raiders need quarterback and wide receiver. Yeah, but they drafted like 17. Let me know, Shane. You want Mac Jones over Derek Carr? I wouldn't either. I like Mac Jones. I do. What about Kyle Trask? Yeah, I don't know about all that. I don't know. I wouldn't do that. Who's Tampa play this year? I'm actually curious. I know they play us. I think we play them in Tampa too. Which I kind of hope that's the case, because if they're selling tickets, I am 100% getting one. Dope. Yeah, they so if you're watching there, at home, Tampa plays. I'm not gonna read out your division opponents because you obviously play them. So at home, you play Dallas, the Giants, the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Bears. Away, you play the Eagles, Washington, New England, the Jets, and the Rams. That's not actually that bad. So Dallas could give you a bit of a fight. You should stomp the Giants. Buffalo will give you a fight. Dolphins is interesting. Obviously, we'll have to see with the Saints this year without Drew, what that looks like. Falcons are all over the place. I don't think they're going to give you much of a fight. Panthers suck. Bears, mediocre. Eagles suck. Yeah, y'all actually have a pretty easy schedule. I'm not going to lie. The Rams are interesting. Matt Jones, 3rd round pick. That's crazy. Mac Jones is still a first rounder. I still like him. I just wouldn't draft him over Derek and get rid of Derek Carr for him. Yeah, no. I would definitely stick with Derek Carr. Now, if you were in a situation, if you were like number 2, like if you were to switch places with like the Jets, and you could get either Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson, then I'd say, yeah, I'd probably kick Derek Carr off of Brady and take one of those two. But you're not in that situation. But I don't know. But then again, I still don't know. At that point, I might even still just build around Derek Carr. Because we've seen him have extremely successful years. So I think if you build around him, you'll be fine. And also, not every team has the cap space that Tampa did last year or this year. Again, because Tampa drafts well. That's why they can afford to have good cap space. When you build through the draft, you have good cap space because drafted players are cheap. By the way, they're saying that Kyle Pitts ran a faster 40 time than Mike Evans. I don't know how true that is. Pro day 40 times are always a little bit weird. Also, it is bullshit that Tampa has such an easy schedule after winning a damn Super Bowl. That's pretty weak. But I will 100% be doing everything I can to get a ticket to that Tampa game when they play Miami. Because I literally live like 45 minutes away from Raymond James Stadium. I'll 100% be trying to get there. I haven't been to a Dolphins game in years. But again, it just depends on what COVID's looking like, I guess. Anything else I want to really talk about? We talked about wide receiver. We talked about running back. Talked about linebacker. Center is not really worth talking about. Did he? Yeah, pro day is bullshit. Coaches lie all the time on pro days. I even did a video telling people not to like take those too seriously because coaches just have too many incentives to lie. I mean, just think about it, right? Like, if you have more players go into the draft, that is an extra thing for you to do to say for recruiting. Oh, well, if you come to my team, we'll help you get to the NFL effectively. We are known for getting people to the league. And then there's also the fact that, you did coach this person for X amount of years, and you probably have a relationship with them. So Wait, what? Eagles suck is good. I'm Eagles fan to start over. Give Giants chance to win title. Bears are joke. Lions structure. Poor roster. Seahawks is mess. Houston is nightmare with poor management. You're an Eagles? I thought you were a Bucks fan. Are you an Eagles fan? Okay. Or were you just saying that Tampa's going to the bowl? That's fair. Yeah, the Giants definitely ain't there yet. I mean, they might win the division title, but I think that's probably going to be Dallas this year, to be honest. I just think that they're in the position to win now more. Washington's interesting, too. I do think the Eagles and Giants are probably going to be pretty bad. The Giants could make some moves because their offensive line started to come together last year, and so did their defense. I do agree that the Bears are a joke. Lions, yeah, they're a mess. Seahawks, they're a really bad mess too. They can't draft for shit. I think the Seahawks are the worst drafting team in the league. How many times during the draft do we see them trade back because they don't know what to fucking do? They have all year to come up with a plan for their draft, and then they wait till draft night and have no clue what they're doing. They used to be pretty damn good at it when they drafted the Legion of Boom, but I don't know what happened. They can't draft anymore. And yeah, Houston is atrocious. You're right about that. I think as far as Tampa goes, I think the team that would probably give them the best fight out of the people that they play in the regular season is probably Buffalo. Like, I'm kind of scared of Buffalo this year, going into this year, man. I was scared of them last year, too. Yeah, Tampa is still a nightmare. I don't know how to approach them. They just have so many pieces. It's like you're a Raiders fan, Shane. It's like evaluating against the Chiefs, right? Like, what do you do against that offense? I mean, in the Super Bowl, Kansas City's offense, they had no starters, so of course they sucked. Their offensive line was just gone. But when they have those kind of all those different weapons that they can attack you with, like, what do you do? What do you do? I think the Chiefs are going to be a problem for a while. And Tampa is going to be a terror for at least a year or two because Tom Brady just extended his contract to 2022. I respect Tom Brady forever, man. That draft, 6th round, and works real hard. Yeah. Yeah. You know, Shane, you bring up a good point there. Your corner is not being able to guard them. If that's the case, y'all might actually want to go corner 17. We were talking about who the Raiders should pick. I think that drafting one of those faster corners, maybe like a Caleb Farley, would be one that could try to keep up with them. That could be a serious thing to look at too, because you do have to play him twice a year. Yeah, I do. I do respect Tom Brady a lot too. I mean, I'm a Dolphins fan, so I've been seeing him twice a year for pretty much my whole life. I'm 23, so yeah. I do have a lot of respect for him, and the thing is he's not even necessarily the most talented quarterback in the world. He doesn't have the big arm. He doesn't have athleticism. His arm is fine, but it's not like a Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers arm strength or anything like that. But his work ethic, his mental processing, his drive, his accuracy, all those things, you can tell that he puts countless hours to improve himself mentally and physically. I don't think any quarterback in history of the game had the work ethic that Tom Brady has had. I have nothing but respect for him. And just in general, over the years, watching Tom Brady play and watch him be a problem for me my whole life, there is always a feeling at the end of a game and Tom Brady, any situation where Tom Brady has to make something happen. There is no doubt in my mind that he is going to make that thing happen, no matter what. Yeah, maybe Arnett is the only one who can keep up, but he's handsy. Yeah, so you probably don't want J.C. Horn because it would be the same issue. Kelvin Joseph would be able to do it. You just better hope he doesn't try to choke John Gruden. Didn't AB try to choke on John Gruden too? Maybe they should meet up. Oh, man. Yeah, I do respect the hell out of Tom Brady. I even did a video last year during the season, the 2019 season, I mean. When people were talking about how Tom Brady was falling off with his last year in New England and his offensive line was atrocious, I actually did a video breaking that down, that his accuracy hadn't just fallen off a cliff, that he's just being pressured. And the reason his completion percentage was so down is because he's throwing it away every damn play. I have so much respect for him. Yeah, he is a leader, coach, learning to respect. Yep, absolutely. Tom Brady is amazing. He raises up everybody around him. Oh, it's Mike Mayock. Close enough. So maybe if you get Antonio Brown back and get Kelvin Joseph, they can be a little tag team, and they'll just run through your whole front office. Choke John Gruden, Mike Mayock, everybody. Literal goat. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Also, I kind of wish that there'd be a clip of it doesn't have to be Antonio Brown, but literally anybody. I just want to see somebody smack Marcus Davis's toupee off his head. I just really want to see that happen. It just looks so bad. It makes Donald Trump's toupee look amazing. Still have nightmares about the tuck rule. Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm too young to really remember that too clearly. I watched it, but I'm 23. But yeah, I feel you. I still have nightmares about fucking Tom Brady. Having to deal with him twice a year. Yeah. Yeah, Mark Davis is trash. I wouldn't say it saved his career. I don't know about that. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that benefited from that. It's just Tom Brady was the most it had the most clout behind it just because of the situation. Ben Roethlisberger benefited a lot from it too. I mean, yeah. I guess. But I still think that Tom Brady was going to be great regardless. I think the second Drew Bledsoe got hurt and Tom Brady took over, I don't think anything was going to deter Tom Brady. I think once he got the opportunity that he was waiting for, he wasn't going to look back. And I feel like he has enough fight in him. Even if he lost the situation with the Patriots, he would have found another opportunity somewhere. I don't think someone like Tom Brady was going to be denied. But that's just my opinion. This has been a good talk, though. I don't live stream too much. I should. Plenty of nose tackles in this class. Don't really have anything else to talk about. What do y'all think about Christian Barmore? I think he's probably the best 3 tech in this class, which is weird because they are making him play 1 tech. But best owner is the Bucs. I disagree. I think he's a good owner, but I think he was pretty trash up until recent years. Now, because what the Bucs owner did finally, and it's something that he needed to do sooner, and this is something that all NFL owners need to learn from, The teams that struggle to be consistent are generally the owners that try to control the team too much. I think the best owners in the league are the ones that draft really smart football minds, really good coaches, really good GMs, and then get the fuck out the way and just sign the checks. That is the sign of a good owner. To be able to trust yourself to hire the people that will give you a win. That's what the Dolphins are starting to do right now. They hired Chris Greer to build this team, and it's been fantastic because owner just got out the fucking way. And that's what you got to do. That's what Tampa did too. I like Barmore, but the Raiders were already overloaded on D-line. Yeah. And I'm not too big on Barmore. I think this year's 3-tech class is pretty damn weak. I think Barmore is pretty much number 1 3-tech for me, almost by default. I'm glad the Dolphins have Christian Wilkins, so we don't really need him. Christian Wilkins and Raekwon Davis. Because it's a bad year to need 3-tech or 3-4 defensive end. 1-tech, there's plenty. There's plenty of nose tackles. And because of that, I think a lot of nose tackles are probably going to fall this year. Because I think there's going to be a lot of conversations like, okay, I can get Marvin Wilson right now, who's probably going to be a really good 1-tech for me. And I can get him in a second, but I can also go get another random fat kid on day 3, and he'll do the same thing. Raiders already got Mo Hurst too. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yep. I agree. You should I think when the owner tries to get too involved, that's where you end up in situations like the Bengals, where Mike Brown is way too involved and Cincinnati can never have any consistency. What's his damn name? Bengals head coach for forever, Marvin something. I'm blanking on his damn name. Marvin Lewis. There it is. Cool. He never let Marvin Lewis actually make decisions, and I'm not saying that Marvin Lewis would have been a great head coach because I think he was a little soft, but not letting your head coach make decisions, it's just shooting them in the foot, and it's limiting their potential greatness. It's something you see a lot of owners do. Washington is a really good example of that. That's why they can never have like consistent success either. But I don't know. Their ownership's a fucking mess too. Like I said, I think the best owners in the league are the ones that just get out the fucking way. Yeah. Eagles ownership has always been pretty weird too. They don't draft particularly well either. Eagles are so hard to call. Because they're an organization that hangs on to people way longer than they should sometimes, but then also is so quick to get rid of people at the same time. It's so weird. And the Eagles fan base is like that too. Half my family is Eagles fans. I can't stand them personally. The fans, not the team. And it's only some fans. Eagles are sketchy as shit, yeah. I think not every fan is like this, but I think the Eagles have the most annoying fan base in the league. Maybe that's just because it is my family and I might be biased. But, I mean, I grew up in Camden, literally like an hour away from Philly. So the Eagles make bad trades unknown? Is that who you're talking about? Because I agree. Yes. I think the Eagles fans, in a different way, Bills fans are the only two fans that are more insane than Raiders, but Bills in a different way. Yeah, I can feel that. And like I said, it isn't every Eagles fan. A lot of them are cool, but good God. I've been to quite a few Eagles games at the stadium. And their fan base is insane. It's kind of fun to be at the stadium there. It really is. Because like I said, I lived up there for a long time. Yeah. For sure. I remember when Philly lost that Super Bowl to New England when I was little. My aunt, who was like a big ass Eagles fan, the second they lost, because she had like this big ass Super Bowl at her party at her house, and she flipped her shit. Like she started like flipping the tables over, and then I remember she took her husband's golf club and smashed like 3 of the TVs in the house because she had the game on every TV throughout the entire house, and she just started smashing all the TVs in rage. It was hilarious and also frightening. I was like 6 or some shit. And just going to Eagles fans, the amount of fights that just randomly break out, even amongst Eagles fans, is hilarious to watch. Sounds like the Raiders when they lost to Tampa. Yeah, I would imagine so. I would imagine so. It is fun, though. It is. Never get emotional with sports. It's just sport. I mean, you can get emotional. Just don't let it overtake you. That's really what it is. I just feel like people just take it a little bit too seriously. I mean, I love sports. Yeah, I'm not a big Super Bowl party guy either. I'd rather watch it with either by myself or with a few people who really understand the game and can respect the game. I think Super Bowl parties really take away from the game itself. I'm not even a big fan of like the halftime show and stuff like that. I'm really not. For me, if I want to go to a concert, I'll go to a concert. If I want to watch fucking football, I want to watch football. That's why like I don't really give my opinions when it comes to like whether I like who they vote for the halftime show, because even if it is an artist I like, it doesn't matter. Because I just don't care about the halftime show. How far should Caleb Farley fall on cornerback? I mean, he's supposed to be already talking to people, right? The injury doesn't sound like it's going to be that terrible, right? I haven't read the full report. I agree. I can't watch football with some people too. See, I love to analyze it even while I'm watching. Like if you've watched my film sessions, I'm like that when I watch live too. Not as much so because I can't like rewind, break down, and stuff like that because it's live, but and it's hard to do that with everybody screaming over it. But I do like Caleb Farley. I was talking about my cornerback rankings earlier. I don't know if you were here, Joseph, but I don't think it really changes much. At least from it's kind of tough not to put it with a Dolphins lens a little bit because, I am a Dolphins fan and we play a lot of cover zero. So it's almost all men coverage with no safety help. We do a lot of that. So people like Patrick Surtain are going to be really tough to really draft. J.C. Horn, Kelvin Joseph are my cornerbacks 1 and 2 still. I know Kelvin Joseph has off the field problems, but still, it's possible, depending on the injury, that Greg Newsome might be able to jump up above Caleb Farley. But right now, until I really find out more information, that's not going to be the case. I got to look into it more. You think Patrick Surtain is the best corner? I disagree. I just think he lacks top speed. Now, if you're a team who does like a lot of cover 2, a lot of cover 3, where you have safety help over the top, he'll be fine. Yeah, the Dolphins are loaded at corner. I'm not necessarily wanting to take one. The only way I would is if Xavier Howard full on says that he's not going to play unless he gets more money. And depending on that price tag, because he has talked about wanting to make more money than Byron Jones. I'm not totally against that, But, I mean, we just re-signed him. So, I don't know. That's the only situation. But I do have to, like, even if we don't need that position, I still have to look at corner. Same thing with tight end. I don't want to draft a tight end, but I still have to look at it. You think Patrick Surtain's going to be top? He can be. Teams can't draft. So, just because he's drafted earlier than some of the guys I have above him, like Kelvin Joseph is my cornerback number 2 talent-wise. He could even be my cornerback 1, but he's probably going to go later because he has off-the-field problems. I value versatility at cornerback to be able to play schemes you never play in one scheme. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Versatility is good. Benjamin St. Juste in the 4th, 5th. He killed at Senior Bowl, can play some safety. I haven't watched him yet. I haven't watched that many corners just because, like Unknown said, the Dolphins don't really need corners like that, so it hasn't really been a position I've really gone heavy on. Gary Lewis, for Kyle Pitts, what team? What team are you a fan of? Is it the Dolphins? Because if it's the Dolphins, I don't want him. I do like him. I do like Kyle Pitts. You know what? Let me not say I don't want him. That's not Miami. It depends on where you want to take him. I just feel like we have way bigger needs in tight end, but I do like him. Yeah. There is a quote, too, that you don't draft players to play zone. When you draft a corner, you're wanting them to play man. And at the end of the day, zone coverage turns into man coverage. It's just that we don't play with safety help very much. And when we do, it's usually single high safety. And either way, you really don't want Patrick Surtain in that situation as much. But he could go early. He could go earlier than the guys I like more than him. Drafting corners, linebackers, defensive tackle, 4-year process. For the Dolphins? I don't know. After his pro day, you got to take a look if he moved down, though. I don't know. I talked about in the beginning of the stream, but really nobody was in here, so I'll go ahead and say it again. I have the Dolphins, or I had the Dolphins draft picks pulled up. Here we go. So with the first pick, I'd like to trade back possibly to Carolina's pick. They're picking at number 7. I'd like to trade back with them because I know that they need a quarterback. I'm hoping that they'll want to jump ahead of the Falcons to go take whoever they want, whether it be Fields, Mac Jones, Trey Lance. I don't really care. That's their business. But whatever quarterback that they want, I hope they trade up to go get him, and we can go to 7. And I would like to take Rashawn Slater at 7. Then at 18, if either Smith or Waddle by some miracle manages to fall to 18, take them. If not, take your best edge rusher available. Second, best player available. So if Kyle Pitts is there in the beginning of the second, then maybe consider taking Kyle Pitts. But we do need to address wide receiver, not so much tight end. Jalen Phillips I'd be cool with. It's just tough to say Jalen Phillips because I don't know his injury report. But he's probably the most talented edge rusher in this class, in my opinion. But it's just depending on his injuries. With Will Fuller on the team right now, they might not draft a wide receiver high. Is it plausible that they trade down to get Slater? Trade down? Like from 18? I wouldn't. I want to trade up. Oh, no, I'm sorry. My bad. I'm having a damn aneurysm. Yeah, I do want to trade back. I do want to trade back. Yeah. Slater was the guy I wanted regardless. And if we can't trade back, I'll take Slater at 3. Over Penei Sewell. Raiders should draft all of the linebackers. Next year, draft wide receiver. Why? They should draft a linebacker, but I don't know about that. Do you think you could draft Pitts to play wide receiver? Possibly. I think he could be a wide receiver. It's just that The Dolphins have Devontae Parker and Preston Williams as their number 1 and 2 receiver, who are already big body contested catch guys. And we have 3 tight ends that we feel pretty good about. So that's 5 contested catch guys already. So I need route runners. And he is a decent route runner for a tight end, but he's just not the type of receiver I'd want. I'd rank him lower than the other top 3. But if he falls to the second round, then maybe. But I don't see that happening. Pitts reminds me a bit of Waller. I can see that. We got McKinney, so, Bolton makes a little sense, but he'd be cool. Yeah, I don't necessarily want Nick Bolton anymore. Nick Bolton was my number 1 linebacker. He still might be. It's either him or JOK. Bolton specifically for the Dolphins, JOK in general. Slater at right tackle or left tackle. It doesn't really matter. Slater will probably be right tackle considering that Tua is left-handed. And Austin Jackson is already playing left tackle, even though I'm not a fan of him, but I don't think we're moving on from him right now. So I'd plug Slater in at right tackle right now and don't think twice about it. At 18, you have multiple options. You never know who Exactly. Right now, I would say top edge available, but if either Waddle or Smith falls, or maybe even Jamar Chase, take them, and then we'll get an edge in the second round. So it is possible. Looked at film on Javon Collins, and bro, it does not look. I disagree. The highs are highs, but lows are lows. Play soft. I do not agree that he plays soft. I like Javon Collins a lot. I just like JOK and Nick Bolton a little more. How about quarterback? Not for us, but out of curiosity, outside of Trevor. I have a video ranking my top 10 quarterbacks of this class, but I'll go ahead and read it off. If you want like more analysis on why they are ranked the way they are, go ahead and watch that. I did a whole video, so I'm not going to explain the whole thing. But I did Zach Wilson 1. I know I'm probably going to get sniped for that. Trevor Lawrence 2, Fields 3, Mac Jones 4, Trey Lance 5, Trask 6, Jamie Newman 7, Felipe Franks 8, Shane Buechele 9, Peyton Ramsey 10. I got my quarterback list. I got all my position rankings right here and my big board. I think the Raiders should draft a linebacker. I do agree that they should draft a linebacker, but not all of them. Cosme round 2. I'll have to see who's available, but I wouldn't hate Sam Cosme in round 2. Crazy, and that only depends if we don't get Slater or Sewell or Tevin Jenkins or Radunes. Crazy idea. Jets should trade their first round to another team for 4. Is there a team willing to do that? I don't know, man. I don't know if I could pass up on Zach Wilson or Trevor Lawrence if I was the Jets. What about other top wideouts like Bateman, Mark? Okay, I got my receiver ranking. I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, Wilson's number 1. If Quinn Meinerz is available in the 4th, it depends. Because I want to take Landon Dickerson possibly in the 2nd. So obviously if we draft him, then probably not Quinn in the 4th. But if not, then yeah, I would take him in the 4th. I'd be fine with that. My wide receiver ranking. Now, keep in mind that my wide receiver ranking is not final. My quarterback one is. I've already published my top 10 on that. But my wide receiver ranking is still in development. So keep that in mind. This isn't my final list. 1, Devontae Smith. I'll do top 10. 1, Devontae Smith. Jalen Waddle 2. Jamar Chase 3. Rashad Bateman 4. Kadarius Toney 5. Dwayne Eskridge 6. Tylan Wallace 7. Rondale Moore 8. Terrace Marshall 9. Jalen Darden 10. Hopefully team that trade for first round have losing season. I mean, it depends. I don't know if they're going to want to put up all that. I mean, maybe. Jamin Davis. Elijah Moore. Where do I have Elijah Moore? Elijah Moore is just outside of my top 10. He's 13. I do like him, though. Actually, he would be 12. I got to take Mike Harley off. He isn't. He went back to school. So he's actually 12. But I do like Elijah Moore, too. Jamin Davis. I can't remember who that is. I don't know if I've seen him. What position? Charles Snowden would be a good developmental prospect. Yeah, possibly later in like somewhere day 3. I have more people in here now. I was looking at Tankathon at the Miami Dolphins draft picks. Where did the Kansas City 7th round pick come from? Because we only had, like last time I checked, which was like a couple of days ago, it seems, we only had one 7th round pick, and it was the one from the Texans. I don't know where the 260th pick from the Chiefs came from. Let me know. Use mathematical and cut all older players. Cut all older players. That might not be a good thing. I mean, you got to look at their contracts. Some of them have guaranteed money. You might be losing money doing that. Kentucky linebacker. I don't think I've watched him yet. Have I? I'm looking into my. Nope. I'm gonna write his name down right now. Actually, you like him? Or actually, I'll just do this. All right, cool. I went and screenshotted it. Interior offensive line. 1 second. Again, not finalized. The only position that is finalized is quarterback for me right now. So it's a little tougher because I have guard and center separate, so I'll do this separately. Center is right here, so I'll do center first. I've got Landon Dickerson 1, Creed Humphrey 2, Josh Myers 3, Quinn Mirenes 4, Derek Kerstetter 5. But I'm not a big fan of Kerstetter. I just haven't watched enough centers. Guard. So I actually have Sewell as a guard. I think he's a much better guard than a tackle. So Sewell number 1, Deontay Brown out of Alabama 2, Trey Smith from Tennessee 3, Jalen Mayfield out of Michigan 4, Jackson Carman 5 out of Clemson, Zion Johnson out of Boston College 6, David Moore out of Grambling State 7, Wyatt Davis out of Ohio State 8, Ed Ingram out of LSU 9, Royce Newman out of Ole Miss 10. But I'm not final on any of that. I still have some more film to go through. But Vera Tucker's a tackle for me. I'll go over my tackle. That's why he wasn't in the guard list, because I'm looking at him as a tackle. So I'll go over my tackle list right now. One quick change I got to do. So Rashawn Slater 1, Penei Sewell 2, but I do still think he's a good tackle. I just like him better at guard. Tevin Jenkins 3, Dylan Radunes 4, Elijah Vera Tucker 5, Liam, I can't pronounce it. Etchenberg, whatever, out of Notre Dame 6, Sam Cosme out of Texas 7, Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech 8, Alex Leatherwood out of Alabama 9, Walker Little out of Stanford 10. I think Monty Rice would be a good day 3. I'm not a big fan of Monty Rice. I got to watch a little bit more film on him before I can really make that opinion, but What's up with the Wyatt Davis ranking? What do you mean? Think he should be higher or lower, unknown? No, I don't have punter rankings. I don't watch film on punters. Paddy Fisher? I don't know. I don't know if I have an opinion on Paddy Fisher. You know, you want to know who the GOAT of this draft class is? I can't remember his first name right now, but his last name is McCheese. Cheeseman. Not McCheese. It's Cheeseman. And it's he's a long snapper. It's the GOAT. I really want a campaign to get him to the Packers. I really, really do. Can't skip the punters. To be fair, I do have punters on my list to watch. I'm telling you, the Packers have to. His last name is Cheeseman. Yeah, I haven't watched Paddy Fisher yet, though. I know he's the Northwestern. Is that it? Let me see if I can find Cheeseman's first name. Because I remember seeing him at the Senior Bowl, and I lost my mind. Cheeseman, NFL. That's not how you spell it. Cameron Cheeseman. Out of where? Michigan. Cameron Cheeseman out of Michigan. Absolutely. Long snappers. Absolutely. Isn't there a DB with the last name Goose? Maybe. Okay. I haven't seen him yet. I'm probably going to be going on like a long run of linebackers here to watch. That's not what's going to be coming up on the channel because I am way ahead of where I'm actually watching. I've got draft content twice a day for a while. I think like halfway through April, to be honest. Yeah, April 16th. I have two draft videos a day until then. So I was just looking at it. Another way to win Super Bowl: draft all offense and defensive line, 2 linebackers, quarterbacks, and safety. Well, I mean, shit. If you hit on all those, yeah, man, absolutely. Free agent signs, superstar, wide receiver, speedster. The problem is teams can't draft, and this ain't Madden. It's kind of hard to do that. Problem is Seahawks might take Cheeseman. You're absolutely right. Seahawks can't draft. By the way, Joseph Sandberg, I see you in a lot of different football YouTubers, live streams and stuff. Are you a Cowboys fan? I'm not sure. I have no idea what fan base you follow. Again, I don't dislike Wyatt Davis. I dislike the other guys more. Some of them I still have to think about a little bit. But I definitely like David more and more. Yeah, you're a Cowboy. I thought so. Because I know I see you in Vach's stuff a lot. But Eagles win Super Bowl with that direction. I mean, if they can hit on all that, but the Eagles can't draft. That's the problem with that. Same thing with the Raiders and Dolphins. We can't draft. I mean, if we hit on all those, then yeah, we'll be a pretty damn good team. And you only have so many picks. Like the Dolphins have what? 8 draft picks total this year. How are we going to draft 5 offensive linemen? Your starting defensive line, 2 linebackers, a quarterback, and a safety with 8 picks. Eagles had more picks. Oh, I see what you're saying. Trade away, like for the Jets to trade back and get a bunch of picks and do that? Possibly, but the Jets can't draft. And also, there is a difference between winning one Super Bowl and trying to compete for multiple. Raiders only missed in 3. The Dolphins just did it last year too, just about. Maybe not the Tua pick. I do like Tua, but I don't like the Austin Jackson or Noah Igbenogany pick from last year at all. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. And I wouldn't have drafted Tua either. But I wasn't mad about drafting Tua either. I wouldn't have drafted a quarterback at all last year. I would have built around Ryan Fitzpatrick and then drafted a quarterback this year. But, that is what it is. Teams can't draft. Including my team. What other positions haven't we covered? We did running back. We did quarterback. Tight end. We haven't done tight end. Lightning in a bottle versus trying to build a dynasty. Absolutely. And, look at what happened to the Rams, right? They tried to do what Tampa just did. They tried to buy a Super Bowl, and then it didn't work, and now they're in salary cap hell. I don't know, man. So, tight end. Now, tight end falls off pretty hard. So, my top 10 is kind of questionable because I don't like 10 tight ends in this class. But number 1, obviously, Kyle Pitts. Then Brevin Jordan out of Miami. Kenny Yeboah. I don't know. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but tight end out of Ole Miss. Pat Freiermuth. I know I'm not pronouncing that right. Out of Penn State. Quentin Morris out of Bowling Green. Tony Poljan, Virginia. Matt Bushman, BYU. Noah Gray, Duke. Kylan Granson, SMU. Josh Pederson, UL Monroe. Yeah, Rams are still trying to buy a Super Bowl, which is weird because the Rams can draft. They just don't like draft picks. It's so strange. Yep, exactly. Saints are kind of in the same boat. They're always competing, but they never can get over that lip. It happens a lot with teams that try to buy a Super Bowl. The only way to successfully do it is to draft and develop your players. Like the Eagles, not the Eagles, but the Patriots over the last 2 decades, they haven't drafted particularly well, but they know how to develop the players they do draft, and that's why they've been successful. You need to be great at least one of those to build a dynasty. Ever since they faced the Pats in the Super Bowl, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, Eagles and Rams. Because they both had the same approach, and then they collapsed afterward. It's just that the Eagles won. Tom Brady's recent reason why Patriots Super Bowl. I'm assuming you're saying that he's the reason that they got all those Super Bowls. I don't think he is the sole reason. I know there is the large debate whether it was Tom Brady or Bill Belichick. I think realistically it was both. Tom Brady doesn't play defense, and the Patriots, even when they didn't have the pieces on defense, they always were at least decent. I think it's realistically both. Yeah, Raiders can't buy nor develop players. I feel you. Dolphins are the same way. I feel like the Dolphins are legitimately going in the right direction now. We still can't draft, but hopefully we can develop players. We'll see with this new staff. Well, not that new. They've been here for 3 years now. About to go into their 3rd year anyway. And by the way, I mentioned Voch Lombardi earlier. You're not going to get a tight end ranking out of him. Guarantee it. Good luck getting him watch the tight. Good luck getting him to watch tight ends. I might even give you a top 3 punter. Who knows? Not right now. Shit though. Where's my my list of players? I do have punters to watch. They are on my list. They have been since November, October. Let's see. Special teams is kind of all mixed in. I haven't even looked at if all these people are even coming out of college. But we got Max Duffy, punter out of Kentucky. We've got Drew Chrisman, punter out of Ohio State. We've got Derek Adams, punter out of Kent State. Blake Gillikin with a K, Penn State, punter. Oscar Bradburn, punter out of Virginia. Evan McPherson, kicker out of Florida. Quinn Nolden, kicker out of Michigan. Blake Lynch, kicker out of Kansas State. Brendan Ruiz, kicker out of Arizona State. I wrote kicker twice for some reason there. Matt Cogblin out of Michigan State, kicker. So, yeah, I do have kickers and punters on my list. At least the Dolphins aren't trying to be the Texans. In regards to what? Bills would be disappointing team. I disagree. I think the Bills are going to be pretty good because the Bills have been building properly these last few years. For what? Send 3 first-round picks to the Texans for what? Deshaun Watson? No. What are they going to do with Eric Flowers? I want to push him off a bridge somehow. What of a waste of free agent signing. Hunt and Kinley should be our guards. I agree. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. I agree. Fuck Eric Flowers. Not him personally, but him as a player. Fuck him. I don't like him. Him and Jesse Davis can go. I haven't hid my opinions on not liking either one. I didn't like the signing when we signed Eric Flowers. I remember getting hate for it. I remember saying that he was ass, and people were like, oh, well, he really improved in his time with Washington. And I went and watched his film in Washington. He was the same exact player. So, and he's the same player with the Dolphins. Plays really high, sucks with his hands, feet may as well not exist. Same thing with Trent Brown in Vegas. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't hid my opinions on Jesse Davis. I remember doing a video specifically about Jesse Davis getting cloth pulled into the ground against Cincinnati. I just clipped it because I thought it was hilarious. I seen it in the middle of my film breakdown. Yeah. The Dolphins used to do that. Dolphins used to try to make splashy free agent stuff, and I remember the Ndamukong Suh contract fucked us over so bad when we signed him when he left Detroit. But we've been doing good about that since. Go Bengals spoiler team? Possibly. I could see that. They have enough pieces to be a little bit weird, for sure. Could be like the Rams a few years back. Remember that? Before like Jared Goff and stuff like that. Before even Todd Gurley. They were a team who sucked ass, but would find a way to beat teams that were way better than them. That was still with the Sam Bradford to Nick Foles Rams. To be fair, Sue did that to the Rams. Yeah, but not for as long of a contract. Yeah, when they had Tavon Austin. Exactly. And remember when Tavon Austin wanted to be paid like who was it? I can't remember. Zach. Yeah, Zach Stacy too. Yeah. What running back was it? I forgot to say it in my video on him, but there was a running back that dead ass reminded me of Zach Stacy in this class. I can't remember. Patrick Laird is out of here. Yeah, I'm cool with him going. Brown, Gaskin, and Ahmed in the backfield, and I still want to draft a guy at some point. We have 2 7th-round picks, and Gaskin and Ahmed will both be gone, I think, after this year, after next year or the year after. And Brown is a 1-year deal. So I would like to draft a young running back at some point to develop under them, maybe rotate in. So, yeah, Patrick Laird can go. The only thing that Laird had was he was a better blocker than Gaskin and Ahmed, but Brown is a good blocker too. So, yeah, he can go. Gaskin isn't really a workhorse. He's like 190 pounds. He plays bigger than he is. But I do really, really like him. He's not necessarily the most athletic, but he is just a guy that just really has great vision. I agree. We do treat the running back position right. I don't know if we have the same opinion on what that means, but I mean that running back isn't very valuable, and I'd rather do running back by committee. I think if we have a really good offensive line, we will have running success as long as our running backs aren't terrible. They can't be terrible, but they don't have to be top of the league. Washington football team will be funny as team. What was the prison football team movie? Longest Yard. Yeah, I like Gaskin a lot. He was very impressive last year because our offensive line was terrible. The reason why him and Ahmed had so much success because we had running backs who had been proven before, like Matt Breida and Jordan Howard. They had proven themselves successful on other teams, but they didn't work here because they didn't have the twitchiness and the vision that Ahmed and Gaskin had because our offensive line was terrible, and what they were having to do was run away from our offensive line to get anything. Khalil Herbert is fast as fuck. Yeah. Khalil Herbert is just outside of my top 10 in running backs. He is literally number 11. I like him a lot. But that's also not finalized. That I may change my opinion. Also, keep in mind my running back group is also somewhat jaded a little bit for Dolphins reasons because, like I said, we do have Ahmed and we do have Gaskin who are both 190 pounds. So power backs go a little bit higher. If two running backs are even and it just comes down to preference of type of running back type, power backs go a little higher. Yeah, I don't want to wait too late. You're right. I wouldn't draft Chuba Hubbard regardless. Let's see. I'd go like Elijah Mitchell out of Louisiana or something, maybe later. Power backs are better in my opinion. It depends on the offensive line you have. I think having both is important. It's just the Dolphins really need it to counter the two running backs we have. But first we need to fix our offensive line because Jordan Howard is actually an okay power back. It's just our offensive line was terrible. 256-pound running back. No, I don't want to do that. Because I don't want him to just have power. I mean, if I wanted to do that, then I'll just put Christian Wilkins out at running back, which could be fun. We do put him at fullback sometimes. I do want him to have some kind of speed to him. Ideally, the one I want would be either Najee Harris, but he'll probably be gone by the time we're ready. The one I really want is Javonte Williams out of North Carolina. That's the one I really want. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Maybe with our third round pick. You're funny. You know what we should do? What's this dude's name? He's a guard. Daniel, I can't say it. Falile, I think is how you say it, out of Minnesota. He is like 6'9" and 400 pounds. Just draft him and put him at power back. There you go. Agility and power, ideal for me. Yeah, Josh Jacobs, sure. Yeah. And Hubbard's last season might have been bad due to injury or something. It's really crazy how he balled out the year. I know. Round 6, yeah, but we don't have a 6th round pick. We have picks from the 1st through 4th round, and then we don't draft again until the 7th. We don't have a 5th or 6th round pick for the Dolphins currently. We have 3 draft picks in all of day 3 right now. So, my thing with Hubbard is that he just can't hang on to the ball. I would rather Elijah Mitchell out of Louisiana. And he should be available around the same time. Look, this will be funny. Line up 2 power backs that way. Yeah. Probably don't do that too many times, and I'm not going to draft a running back that does that. But maybe we can just get some defensive linemen to do it. Get like Zach Seiler out there, put him at running back. Maybe Raekwon Davis. That could be fun. Quarterback should be 270 pounds. I feel you. Just get our and don't even draft the 270-pound quarterback. I feel you. Let's get with our weight training coach and just have him fat up to a massive degree. Just have him be obese before the season starts. Have him looking like Jamarcus Russell out here, but without the crazy arm strength. Jumbo formation, right? Absolutely. You know what? Even better, what we're going to do is we're just going to have 11 offensive linemen on the active roster. Line 10 of them up. Actually, all 11. We'll put an offensive lineman at quarterback too, and we'll just run quarterback draws the whole time. Just line everybody else up on the line and just run quarterback draw with an offensive lineman. You like that? I like that. I like that idea. Just 11 400-pound men. Yeah, you know what? Good call. Just bring back Jamarcus Russell. Absolutely. And make him throw left-handed. I like that too. That sounds like a fantastic idea. I love it. Who are the quarterbacks coming up in the next class? Maybe we can tank. And yeah, either that or acid. Remember that? I can't remember. I'm not really a baseball fan, but I do know the story of that pitcher being high on acid in a game. I don't remember who it was. I don't watch baseball. I think it's fucking boring. But I do remember that story. Long ass time ago. Just have everybody on acid. Or you know what? To be more culturally inclined, it is Miami. Bath salts. Have an army of zombies out there. Absolutely. Absolutely, Joseph. It's a fantastic idea. By the way, I was not planning on streaming for this long. It just kind of happened. I just started talking to y'all and just kept going. 11 offensive linemen in motion, get head coach. Yeah, absolutely. Well, don't you remember a long ass time ago where the whole zombie in Miami thing, that was because he was high on bath salts. And I know some people personally that do bath salts. Not in Miami, but in Florida in general. We could do cocaine too. I mean, bring back our old offensive line coach who was bumping cocaine after games. Sounds like a good call. Maybe even put him in the game. We need Dan Campbell back, though, and have him snort some coke too, so we can really start biting off kneecaps. I like it. Yeah, Cali is different. And the whole zombie thing would really work with biting off kneecaps. It'll be a really intimidating thing. You know, instead of the whole Samoan thing that teams like to do, we're just going to start off by running up to every team's kicker every game and just biting off their kneecaps. Show dominance. Or, even better, we get a new kicker every single game and we bite off our own kicker's kneecap right before the game starts. Yeah, bring back Adam Gase. Yes. Someone's going to clip that. How about this? Line up 3 quarterbacks and do wildcat? Absolutely. All pocket passers, too. Perfect strat. 17-0. Absolutely. You know what? No, we're going to go 32-0 somehow. We're going to add extra games. We're going to do so well that they're just going to count the wins for the next season. We're going to go 32-0. Book it. Or would it be 30? Yeah, it's 34-0 now, I guess. Because we're going to 17 games now, right? Yeah. Absolutely. But anyway, I think this stream has been long enough, and we're talking about putting zombies on the field. Yeah, we'll probably still lose. No, we're not losing to Tampa. Remember, Tom Brady blew out his ACL when he was a few years ago. We're gonna bite that ACL out. Yeah. No, not 16-1. We're gonna bite out Tom Brady's ACL. But I think this has been long enough. I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Hopefully, I'll live stream again soon. I actually had fun doing this, but I got to study for assignment I got to do for school tomorrow. I have to because I'm taking sign language in college, so I have to do a whole script purely in sign language with a partner. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to pull that off, but hey, yeah. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. See, I don't live stream enough. I'm doing my video outro, but yeah, I'll see y'all next time. Bye, guys.